do that all the time, Chris. I mean, that's the name of the game, is keeping them updated, because they, I don't know if they see everything that's going on in life, whether it's something in Texas, something in Tennessee or Florida, wherever it is. But just, it's my job to make sure they're informed of what's going on and how fragile this whole thing is. It's just, it's one guy. You don't know how someone from Tennessee got it. All of a sudden, two more guys come down with it today, or whenever, and it just spreads. So it just keeps them alert. I'm always constantly, it's constant, of just harping on the details, that we wash our hands, that we wear our masks, we're around people, and keep our distances. And even when you do that, I'm sure Tennessee was doing that. Something happened. Somebody got into the bubble somehow, some way. That Friday night, that Thursday night, it's Sunday night after the game, whatever it was. But it can happen that quickly. It can go from being really good to not very good. So.
Pat, even the best job can be a job or be tough at sometimes. Has the ability to earn the right to play made football more enjoyable for you and your team? Have you enjoyed maybe some of the processes in the games more than you had in the past?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say it made it more enjoyable having to worry about all the issues, but I think it's caused our kids not to take things for granted. Don't take it for granted. We get the opportunity to go play, and I think the players and the team and the staff has realized that you take it one at a time, and just be grateful we have these opportunities to go play.
Pat, on Monday, you said that there was a chance that you guys would get parents in the stands on Saturday, and I know Heather was on the fan as well, talking about that earlier this week. Any update on that? Do you know if parents will be able to get in there this weekend?
I'm worried about what we do on third down. We'll make sure our defense can get off the field. Worried about getting first downs, and when we get to that red zone, scoring touchdowns. So we'll let the medical professionals take care of that, and when we get word, We'll just we'll focus on what we have to do. That's the only thing. We can't control anything. I'm not calling anybody. I'm worried about putting a football team on the field Saturday.
Can you talk a little bit about how the week went with your running game, and how maybe some of those guys have progressed, backs and the offensive linemen, and maybe take another step this weekend?
Yeah, we gave them, we got them in the weight room, Jerry, and we've tried to really work on their speed this week. I'm just kidding. We're trying to get them faster this week. No, we've had a good week. Vince Davis and Izzy are back there. Daniel Carter, I expect to be back and ready to roll as well. So, we'll just by committee, hand that ball off. But I like where our run game's going. I've looked at a lot of self-scout about what we've done in the run game. All kinds of statistics as far as quarterback under center, shotgun, pistol, all those different things that maybe North Carolina State's looking at, just to find out as a defensive guy like what our tendencies are. So we've maybe built up some tendencies doing some things, and obviously we're going to try to break some tendencies every week, and we expect to break some tendencies tomorrow too, or Saturday.
NC State has used two quarterbacks this season. Leary kind of took over that last game. What does he do well, and how do you have to attack him?
Obviously he's a right-hander. They're both talented players, and it all depends on the day. That anybody can have a good day and a bad day. But looking at Leary, specifically, he's a guy that really gets the ball out. I think he knows where to go with the football. Obviously, he started games in the past for them last season. I think he's got a strong arm. I think he throws a nice deep ball. I think he's mobile enough to get out of the pocket and make something happen with his feet, kind of like a Kenny Pickett type guy. And again, he obviously missed some camp, and that's probably, he'd been starting in the beginning. So I think he's their best quarterback at this point. I think they kind of know that. And but Bailey's good too. He's a good quarterback. So they got two good quarterbacks that are capable. If we don't do our job, both of them can be effective and hurt us.
Now, last week, Wes Storm of the ACC Network was talking to some of his Big Ten buddies, and they were saying that Pitt's defense is a lot like Michigan State's defense that you had back in the day. Do you see any similarities between the two?
Yeah, Jerry, you stop listening to those ACC Network guys. You guys know more than anything. What do you listen to those guys for? You got to listen to. You're at the game, aren't you?
I can't get the ACC network at home. I have to talk to them on the phone.
Well, let's first get you coached up there. Maybe text me later. Text me your wife's number so we can get you guys maybe figuring out how to get rid of Comcast and get DirecTV or something.
We're making strides. We're doing that. We're already doing that.
Are you kidding me? Then you can tape the game. You can go home and watch it when you come home.
Back to my question.
Back to the question. How do I dance around that question? Probably the biggest. I mean, you can make plays, and I talk to our guys about details. I go back and watch our third down. We're still not as detailed as we need to. I'll tell you, like I told our team today and told our defense staff yesterday, I watched third down. I'm looking and saying, we're still not doing things great. I mean, the details are still not there. And as good as we have been, as far as the production and the stats and all that stuff, we're still like there's details that we're not, you don't see with the naked eye. And maybe our defense staff doesn't see it, but I see it when I watch it. And I just told these staff I'm going to go watch all our third downs for the year, third medium, third long, and watch what we're doing well, what we're not doing well, and just that's my job is to go just evaluate where we are. And I looked at it, it's like, hey, we're getting sacks, but this isn't good enough. This isn't good enough. Just try to be more detailed. Our kids need to be more detailed because sooner or later it's going to get you. But the defense is good, Jerry. Probably the biggest indicator, and the biggest indicator against a really good Louisville offense that was explosive regardless of who they played for really the last year, I guess through 2019 and 20, was the 8 3-and-outs we had. I think we had 14 series, 8 3-and-outs. That's over half the time. And if there was one thing I remember about our Michigan State defenses, forget the run stats and all the rest of it. One thing I remember is we were like, one year we were like 55% of the time we were going 3-and-out. And to me, that's a sign of good defense. When you go out there for 3 plays and then you go sit on the bench and talk about 3 plays and then go out and do it again, when over half of your series are 3-and-outs, that's pretty darn good. But guess what? It doesn't matter what you did last week. It's what you do now. And that's why I hate to sit there and evaluate a defense right now because it doesn't really matter. I've seen teams go 8 3-and-outs and the next week, make you throw up. So, we'll find out what we got this week. And again, at the end of the year is when we kind of say, hey, that's a defense. It's like that. But they are trending in that direction. And we'll see week by week. They're playing with an attitude right now. And that's the important thing.
Pat, on that sort of note, there was I guess when we used to hear about those Michigan State defenses was that you guys were really good at second half adjustments and what you were able to accomplish in that time period at halftime. There was a story about a projector, I think, at one point that maybe came up. What's Coach Bates like in the halftime? And maybe how does he compare to what you did when you were defensive coordinator?
Bates does. Randy Bates does an outstanding job as well as our whole defensive staff. And like I've said before, I don't call any defenses. It's Randy Bates' defense. I'm there just as a kind of. I told him I'm their senior GA. I even type up my own little notes for him and say, hey, I got a tip for you, and type it up. I even type it up myself, Jerry. I could be a writer someday. I could be your GA someday, Jerry. Help write your papers and your articles. Randy's intense. The thing I love about Randy is he's detailed. He's consistent. And when I say consistent, he's not worried about like getting turnovers today, but then tomorrow it goes to something else. I mean, you got to be worried about the same things every day and stay on them. That's the only way they happen. But he's very similar to me in that way. That he doesn't give up on stuff. He doesn't just let it go. He's on it all the time, and he's got a lot of energy. So I don't know about any projectors. There's no comment there, but he hasn't had a projector problem. Put it that way.
I assume you're happy with 3 points against in the second half through 3 games.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. So the 3 points we gave up was my fault because of the fake punt last week. So it should have been 0. So put the 3 on me.
Coach, I know you don't care about rankings, but I know a lot of the kids were a little miffed last week when you beat a ranked team and you dropped.
And I don't even ask about it, to be honest with you. I'm sure, they go on Twitter and they look and tweet stuff, and who knows? I mean, to me, it's if you're worried about that, you better worry about this Wolfpack team that's coming into town. When you start to, your mind goes in different directions. Maybe Monday, or Tuesday when that stuff comes out, they look at it. but I really haven't felt it or heard it or hey coach, what happened here? How that from what I gather, they added up more teams that haven't played a game, so you can understand why it would happen. It's not like we, I guess, dropped and they didn't add any new teams to the top 25. I guess they had teams that are and again, I have not even looked at it to see who's in it. I'm sure Ohio State's in. I haven't even looked at it, but teams that haven't played a game yet, which is odd. But what are you going to do? It doesn't matter. Just win, and everything takes care of itself, one at a time.
But playing with a chip on your shoulder is not a bad thing either, is it?
No, I like to play angry and pissed off, and so, but again, just make sure you got to be angry at the, don't be angry at Jerry. It's not Jerry's fault. I'm sure Jerry ranked us 28th or something like that, but, but be mad at the team you're going to line up across from. So I like to play with the chip, but it's like, where's the chip focused on? I mean, to me, this team's coming into our backyard. They're coming into Heinz Field. And they want to come take something away from you, and our kids got to come out and play like that. They shouldn't be playing for Jerry up there.
Pat, speaking about being focused on the next opponent, North Carolina State is averaging over 200 yards rushing per game. And they've got two running backs that have over 150 yards rushing right now. What are some of the things that you guys have identified that they do well, and that ways that you're planning on countering their strengths in that department?
They do a lot of things well. Obviously, they like to run the ball. Their head coach is a defensive guy. He knows how effective the run game and how deflating it is when you got a run game going. But, I think they really do a nice job in their counter game. I mean, they run a counter at a bunch of different things. But counter is a big play that, they run, which Louisville didn't run. Louisville ran a lot of inside zone and outside zone. They do the same thing. They'll run some outside zone, inside zone, maybe a little bit more inside zone, but they also run the counter. So there's another play that, if you're fast flow here, okay, on all the zone plays, and all of a sudden you got to come back on it. It's like, and you got to come back for the counter. It's an issue. So I would look for the counter to be a play that they go to slow us down a little bit from running towards the outside zone, and try to make it all look the same and package it together that way out of the same formations is what we're kind of expecting.
Pat, meant to ask you this on Monday, but we saw A.J. Davis came off the field during the game against Louisville. Any update on him? How is he holding up?
You're like the new Jerry DiPaolo Jr. That's what I'm going to call you. Again, AJ's, again, I'm not going to talk about it, but, he's a lot better right now than he was Saturday, put it that way. So we expect to have him back very, very, very soon. Maybe this weekend. Never know.
With Eric Hallett out last week, Brandon Hill got to see a lot more action. And what did you see from him in his first extended look?
Brandon Hill is a football player. If I had to pick a guy that has a non-stop motor, it's Brandon Hill. He is physical. He's fun to coach. He's smart. He's going to be a future great safety here at Pitt, and he gets to play that star position on Delta. He'll back up Paris Ford right now. And we don't feel bad about putting him in on hash at any time, any place, because he's really special player. So he did a nice job in there on third down. Obviously, we had some success on third down, and obviously, if he doesn't do his part, there's a problem. So Brandon played well, and will continue to play well for us. That's a guy we never talk about, is Brandon Hill for some reason. Like, Brandon Hill is a football player. That guy is physical. He's tough. He's going to be a really good player for us.
Any additional questions?
Any thoughts on the right tackle position with and I feel like another injury question here, but obviously Gabe left and he had some issues in the offseason with the surgery and all that kind of stuff. It might be a different deal, but
yeah, Gabe practiced this week. It has nothing to do with his offseason shoulder surgery. So Gabe practiced this week, and Gabe's ready to roll.
None of those injuries from last week are his season ending at this point?
No, Jerry won. Nope. No season ending. Knock on wood.
Any final football questions? No? If not, well, as always, thanks for joining us on Thursday. Coach, thanks very much for your time, and we will look forward to seeing this crew on Saturday.
Sounds great, guys. Enjoy it. See you after the game.
Yeah, thank you.